of the 42 ideals of Ma'at. My mother is nature. My father is time. I am a Neski queen.
All right. Okay, Baltimore, welcome back to another live episode of Be More Mindful. I am your host, Aneski Anna Kimset. I am the queen of what life it was like. Aneski literally means she belongs to me. So for the next hour, few moments, I'm blessed to say that I belong to you guys, and I hope you all enjoy today's show. So today is June the 13th. This is episode 17. And today's topic is the power of love, part one. And I have a very special guest with me who I've known for quite a few years now. And I'm just so excited to have her on because not only of what she does, but the energy that she does it with, what she brings with it, is very self-empowering, and it's something that I've taken part of personally and have enjoyed its experience that is very memorable. And so I'm not going to hold you all. I'm going to let Miss Kim Go Fitness tell you about herself. And she's also going to let us know how what she does help her deal with any mental or social barriers. Kim?
All right. Thank you for having me. So, like you said, my name is Kim. Most know me as Kim Go Fitness. I am a group fitness instructor. I specialize in dance fitness. So I do different formats like Zumba, do soca aerobics, mixed fit, and I do sexy heels class. And basically, while I do that, I have weekly classes and I also have monthly classes. And with fitness, that is also a stress reliever. So dealing with any type of mental issues, especially for myself, with being a mom, having a full-time job, things can be stressful. And a stress reliever for me and a lot of people is exercising because it releases endorphins. It has that feel-good spirit, almost kind of like dancing does for some people. So that is how I got into fitness by finding out that stress reliever is through exercise. So yes.
Yes, I totally agree, and I'm grateful for what you do because I think sometimes when people think of fitness, especially in our culture, when we think of fitness, and in the healthy aspect, we always feel like we're compelled to have to go to the gym or do some type of technical workout. Whereas with
Yeah.
you have been able to add a creative aspect and a fun, entertaining aspect to it, which makes it even more relieving as far as stress because you don't even really realize that you are, working out.
Exactly.
It's like, it's a double. It's two things. It's two good things in one. You get to feel good about your self health as far as your aerobics and your muscles and all the physique and all that, but also
Yeah.
your confidence goes up because girl, once you learn them dances, you be
Right.
twirling in the mirror. I'm trying to tell you, I still think I'm sexy. And I went to a tennis shoe class, so every now and again she throws a little tennis shoe thing in there, and that thing was still a
Yeah.
little sexy dancing.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you, Kim. I
No
appreciate that.
problem.
And
Yeah.
so
That's building the confidence. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely does. It definitely builds a great confidence. And also the atmosphere that you create is very inviting, very hospitable because the thing about it is you have it's so many such a variety of people
Yes.
there. It wasn't just females, it was males and females, and just the unison of what the purpose was coming together was there, and everybody was for it and friendly, and it was awesome. So
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I do encourage no judgment, so I want everybody to come as they are. You don't have to be a certain size, look a certain way. Just come on and be free and just relax and just have a good time.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. And so, with that being said, guys, for those of you who are joining us, if this is your first time, please just make sure that we keep our little. We have. I don't like to call them rules. I just call them expectations. Expectations are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So if you can remember four letters, LOVE, you'll be able to definitely enjoy this conversation. So we're going to jump right into it because all of that leads me to what today's topic is about. It's the power of love, and that's one of the things you definitely feel in your class, Kim. You feel a lot of love. You feel a lot of self love, and you also feel a lot of external love. And this came about. This thought came to me. This topic came to me because I think like I've been wondering, where we're at as a culture when we think of love. Do we really understand that there's actual power?
Mhm.
Behind it, like it actually gives you the ability to, as people would say, move mountains or such. The power of love for yourself gives you the ability to decide if you need to get yourself more fit and take a class with Kim or
Exactly.
whatever. It's the power of love that can propel so much.
Yes.
So with that being said, we're going to go right into our first segment, and we're going to review the flyer that was posted a few days ago. And I do apologize to the audience for posting so late. I had a very busy week last week, but nonetheless, I'm certainly consistent. And so we're here, episode 17, The Power of Love. And yes, Kimbo Fitness is our guest. The quote that I have at the bottom that we're going to dive into is from a gentleman by the name of Eric Fromm. And Eric Fromm put in one of his books, he says, love is a decision, it is a judgment, it is a promise. And I found that quote to be very intriguing, speaking on love, especially coming from wanting to, remind people the power of it because, it's just lets you know it's intentional. Love should be intentional. It's a judgment. It's something that you're deciding. You're making a firm decision on. You have decided that this particular person or thing or action requires this emotion, this feeling, this verb,
Hmm.
and then it's a decision, it's a judgment. And I'm gonna put it up one more time because so make sure. And it says it's a promise. That's where it really hit for me because we speak of love and we know about commitment. We speak on it, but do we really understand that love is a decision, a judgment, and a promise? It is you're saying to yourself or someone else, whoever, that I'm guaranteeing these actions behind this for this particular reason. And love isn't something that should make you feel down. So you're speaking life, you're speaking uplifting, you're speaking of raising something up, and you're promising to do these actions. So Kim, you tell me your aspect after hearing that quote from what do you think of his quote?
Actually, I almost didn't agree with it, and that's
Let's talk
because
about it. That's
um,
what it's
just
about, a conversation. I love it. I'm ready.
because he said it's judgment, and
Mm.
I don't think love is judgment because it's
Mm.
supposed to be unconditional love, and like when you think about your parents or your children, you're not judging them. Like you're gonna love them regardless. So there will never be a judgment. In my case, and I'm gonna say for most parents, you're not gonna judge your kids. You're gonna, as soon as they come out, you in love already.
This is true.
That part, so I'm not sure if he's actually speaking on like a romantic type of love or whatever, but that part of it, I didn't agree with the judgment because I feel that it is a judgment free type of emotion. Um,
Oh man, I
love,
love
love.
your perspective on that. Keep going. I like it. Let's go.
I do love how you said it's a promise because by you, like you said, it's a commitment. So you are promising to do right by this person, to love unconditional, or however you want to um, show your love, because love is an action to me. That's a promise that you got to keep. So if you break that promise, that's how hearts get broken.
This is true. Mm.
That,
Ooh,
that
I
was my
like
take
that.
from it. That was
Listen, that was a little sneaky. I like that. Listen, I like that. That okay. So I know what quote I'm gonna be posting with this link. If you breaking promises is how hearts get broken. Do you want to go ahead? I want to because I want to go into that a little bit. Um, I don't think people really realize because we're hurt people. People end up hurt, and I often remember through my own pains and heartaches. What mattered the most was that, like you said, a promise was broken, something that the security of something that you were sure to happen or not happen. Went the opposite way, and it just it damages your heart.
Right.
And I want Baltimore. Let's just be more mindful about the promises that we're making, to each other and to ourselves. Let's be mindful of making sure that we're not breaking promises, so we can not be breaking hearts, because
Mhm.
we have to work on healing. And one of the ways of healing is to not repeat the hurt, that has caused the first pain, and that's part of the healing. Because when people go through trauma, one of the things that brings them out of the trauma is knowing that they may not will not go through that situation again. And
Right.
or if they are faced with that situation, or faced with that moment, they have all of the tools and components they need to push through. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, Kim. Have you ever been in a position where you broke someone's heart or broke a promise? I mean, how I mean, I just look. It's just the
Yeah.
kind of lesson to talk about, because I've been there too. So tell me about it. Like how.
The main one that I've caused will probably be to myself. Like when you set up promises, um, you set it up for an expectation. I promise to do this. I promise to do this, and then you got to live up to that. And
Right.
when you don't, that's where the heartache comes from. Heartbreak comes from. And the most damage that I've probably done is saying I'm going to do something for myself and broke my own promise. So growing up, maybe like in my 20s, I used to always say, I'm not making no promises. I'm not promising nothing, because I knew I had to set it so high that I was scared that if I didn't reach that expectation, either I'm gonna be hurt, somebody gonna be hurt. So I used to say, I'm not making no promises. But the more you grow and you learn things, and through life experiences, I'm gonna promise you all day, because I know I'm gonna come through with it.
Right.
So I can't remember like a specific
Right.
thing. Um
Yeah.
only maybe like going back on my word, and if I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it. But I do um recall like being very disappointed in myself. So to me,
Yes.
that's a heartbreak. That's a
It
broken
is.
promise to me.
It is. It is. And there's definitely no worse heartbreak than the one that you cause on yourself, because
Mhm.
you have to resonate with yourself with that. Like, because you have to face your own accuser. So you have to deal with, you are the one that
Yeah,
caused this pain, and then now
we're
you
our,
have to be the
our
one.
worst critic. We're our own worst critic.
Oh my gosh, yes, and that's something that we should we should really take to heart, and not be light on the promises that we make to ourselves first.
Hmm.
Because what I have learned is that the more you're able to keep a promise to yourself, the easier it is to keep a promise to someone else. People tend to think it's. I used to think it was the other way around, where it's like, okay, it was my dire integrity with keeping my loyalty to someone else, and
Hmm.
not keep the promises to myself. And
Right.
all that did was send me in a downward spiral of depression and suppression, because the person that needed to keep the promises that I need to be kept the promises to the most was myself.
Yeah.
And then what it did was teach. I was teaching myself to put myself at the bottom, to make myself be less important, or less worthy of my own promises.
Right.
So, all that plays a part in your mental. That's why it's very.
Hmm.
That's why I try so much to stress the importance of being mindful.
Yeah.
I'm around a lot of people, and they always say real quick, "Oh well, is it really that deep?" Sad to say, and not sad to say, very happy to announce and proud to speak of, it is that deep. The
Yeah.
more we are mindful about what we say and do, not only to ourselves but to others, the more likely we are to treat ourselves better and each other people better.
Yes. You're
And it's a
absolutely
lot of
right.
things in life that will, not be the way that it is. Now, of course, I know, let's just not be superficial and think we're going to wipe all of the bad, all of the negativity off the face of the earth. I don't think that, because there has to be a balance. How
Hmm.
could people know what good is if there wasn't nothing to represent bad?
Yeah.
But with that being said, majority rules. So we have more positive energy in the world than,
Yeah.
the media would not have so much to discuss in a
Hmm.
negative light. You understand? Especially when it comes to my city, which I know is full of so many great mindful people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on something you just said,
Sure.
about you pouring into other people and not giving back to yourself when you need it the most. They call that people pleasers, and you are so concerned, not you specifically, but people are so concerned with pleasing other people and making sure that they good before your own self is good. You can't fill somebody else's cup and yours empty, and that will definitely send you in the downward spiral. So I definitely agree with you on that. You got to
Yeah.
take care of yourself first.
Yes, yes, and I think that's just something that is not regularly taught, not only in homes but in schools. I always kind of frown my face with when it comes to the education system, when it comes to certain life
Hmm.
lessons, that it seems like they don't really want to deal with it until there is an action that requires it to be looked at. But this is the stuff that we need to be teaching in the beginning. I mean, I'm talking about up ABCs, one, two, three, shake,
Yes.
self-care, loving
Yeah.
yourself, creating
Emotion.
boundaries, making positive promises.
Hmm.
These are things that our children need to grow up with the mindset of having,
Yeah.
because when you grow up with the opposite mindset, the work it takes to relearn and readjust yourself to what is important, like self-care,
Hmm.
the promises and all that, the harder it is to really teach yourself, and sometimes the process can be painstaking,
Yes.
going through that, going through that.
Hmm.
Yeah, but man, that was a good opener. Also, I love it. This conversation is going just the way I
Yeah.
want it to go. Yeah. So Baltimore, yeah. So just to reflect on the first segment, we went over the quote on the flyer from, and Kim definitely brought up a great point about judgment. I wanted to go back and teach and say that I like her perspective, and I agree with her perspective that love so much isn't necessarily judgmental. Like it should be. It's definitely unconditional. That's where forgiveness and things come in play. And you have to be able to be forgiving to yourself and others. So that takes the conditions of love to another level. You're saying that you did this, and I didn't like that, but still I love you and I'm here for you, and these are things that people need, especially our young people, who I think sometimes they crave attention, whereas
Mm.
like they feel so unloved. They feel like if they do something unloving, then it's going to prove, because they'll say, well, you're just going to put me away or kick me to the and sweep me off.
Yeah.
And I feel like that type of mentality is one of the ones that's going on as I listen to them engage in conversations, and I want us to kind of put a stop to that mindset,
Hmm.
let them know they are unconditionally loved and that their life matters.
Yes.
But they gotta stop, doing some of the things they're doing that's taking their lives away at this young age that we said.
Right. Think about the bigger picture, not the right now.
Yes, yes. Yeah, which is definitely the future. The bigger
Mm.
picture is definitely next up.
Yes.
So that closes our first segment. Boss one, again, for anyone who's just joining, you all know I am Aneski. I have my guest Kim with us. We're going to go into my next segment, which I like to call experts versus experience. And this is where I'll just share with you guys. I like information. I like reading. So I'll share with you guys a journal entry or whatever, something, an article or whatever work I may find on the topic for today. And just let's see what these guys who get paid big bucks and have like all these letters behind their name. Let's see what they say about them and then compare them to real life, because everyone knows that on the job training really takes place in the field.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's how we want to phrase that. Speaking of the job of life, it's on the job training. So the article I read was from it was an American Heart Association news,
Ooh.
and it was on health and fitness. It was published on February 13th, 2020, and the title is "The Power of Love: How a Happy Relationship can help your health. Okay, and so as I read down, it goes. This really mostly speaks on love between relationship as far as like male and female marriage, but I definitely want to speak on the power of love in general, and also also focusing on self love, mainly because I think when it comes to relationships, we as a culture have gotten away from understanding the concept of relationships. So when someone says relationships, or we strictly go to the significant other, the girlfriend or the boyfriend. But there
Right.
are other relationships that suffer, immensely in our culture from lack of mindfulness, like, parent to child, friend,
Mm-hmm.
peer to peer, siblings, So I wanted to read this with the thought of having all relationships, and I wanted to make sure that I chose a part of the article that can be applied to all different type of relationships, because there may be someone listening who does not have a significant other, but this can apply.
Yep.
All right. So in the article it says one theory is that good relationships calm people down from the fight or flight response that kicks in when they're scared or angry, said Waldinger, a psychiatrist and professor at Harvard Medical School in Boston. Stress hormones released at such moments can be harmful. But, he said, if you have a really lousy day and something bad happens, excuse me, I'm sorry, allergies, I took my Benadryl, ain't kicking yet. If you have a really lousy day and something bad happens, and you go home and there's someone you can talk to about it, you can almost literally feel your body decompress as you talk about what was wrong, especially if you have somebody who's a good listener and maybe says a few encouraging things. Now, this was wild about that, that paragraph, because yesterday on my lunchtime live, I was just inquiring, people who have gifts, so you're using them, to the utmost of, that power to bring light. Excuse me again, everyone. You're using that power. And one of the things I ended with is that if your gift is listening, go listen to somebody, listen to them well. And so it was ironic to come back and read in an article where a person is speaking that just that one particular act, an
Yeah.
act of love, is so powerful that it can literally decompress the pressure and the stress that's in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, coming from it, my experience, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Totally agree. You know, I remember at one point in time, I was not in a relationship, and it was just my children, and so coming home and just for me, us sharing our day, and me fixing a meal, and just being productive, and providing for my
Mm-hmm.
family actually took away the stress of work. It was just it was just a
Yeah.
different feeling, and even though it still was slightly work, but it was just like how everyone would just be so excited to have me there, and so happy to
Yes.
hear me out, and happy to let me do what I do and help, and just
Mm-hmm.
it was just interacting with them took away my stress for the day from work. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think this particular expert kind of hit it on the nose about it. It's exerting the power of love. It literally has the power to cause the initial fight and flight chemicals, things. It can actually cause that to regress and go in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just think about it coming home all balled up, and then just think about the feeling you've had when someone said, "Hey, what's wrong?" Or, you got to
Right.
speak about your day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Kim, how you tell me, like, have you experienced that? You want to take it any further?
Yeah, and I also agree with that part of the paragraph you read. But yes, and dealing, because even though I am a group fitness instructor, I still have a full-time job. So my 9 to 5 job is, well, not this one, but where I am now, was very stressful. Like, it was so stressful. I would have to listen to like calming music on my ride home just to
Mhm.
just to get myself together. But then, like you said, when you get in the house and your kids are there, they running, mommy, and you like, like give me a hug, give me love,
Yeah, yeah.
that is an automatic stress reliever, and it will bring those stress levels down. um, Another thing is, if you actually have somebody to talk to, that is amazing, and a lot of people don't have anyone to talk to. So and sometimes that's why you may find like people doing these crazy heinous crimes, because they don't have nobody talking to them, like trying to talk some sense into them, or saying, yeah, yo bro or sis, what's wrong, like, what's going on. Those people that don't have anyone, or they feel like they don't have anyone to talk to, they'll go off the deep end. So that those two, on one aspect to the other, not having somebody and
Right.
you going off on the deep end versus having somebody to talk to, or not even necessarily talk to, but having some other type of stress reliever, like the kids or somebody. You could be in the store with a frowny face because you pissed off, and somebody could be like, guys always be like, smile. You could be like,
Yes.
okay, like, all right,
Okay.
that made me feel good. Any little thing, any act of kindness that anybody can pour out to somebody can help a whole heck of a lot. And just if you could bring that stress level down just a little bit, can do amazing for everybody, basically.
Yes, yes,
And
yes. It,
exercise.
and I'm about to say, Kim, I was getting ready to go there. And I was going to say, Kim, you mentioned something, and this is something that we need to really start. Another thing I think we really need to start stressing in our culture is talking the truth about, how the body works, literally how it works physically and mentally, hand
Mhm.
in hand. Okay, so Kim, you mentioned doing exercise or aerobics and fitness helps increase your endorphins. And
Yeah.
so, and if I excuse me if I'm, mispronounce some of the things, but the endorphins are the chemicals that make you happy. If I'm correct, am I correct?
Yep.
So, Baltimore Beat, we have to be mindful that when we're in a certain mood or a certain matter, we have to understand there's a chemical imbalance going on. We have to be able to make ourselves recognize these things, because the remedy to that is to balance it out. Okay, and so when you find yourself like, you need to find out what it is you need to do to shift the chemicals in your body so that your endorphins are up, because you cannot make happy decisions, or positive good decisions, if you're not having happy and
Right.
positive thoughts. And you
Yep.
cannot produce a lot of happy and positive thoughts if you don't have the proper chemicals, in your body doing the things that it's supposed to do. This
Yes.
body is like a machine that works a certain way, and the physical and the mental works hand in hand. The brain controls the things that your body is doing. But if
That's
you
it.
don't give your body the right thing it needs to feed the brain, you're gonna be out of whack.
Right. You definitely
So
have to take care of yourself.
it have to. So I said it the same. When you hear people speaking of things like stress, when you hear these, teach ourselves to identify what that means. That means there's a chemical imbalance going on, and we need to do something. Whether that's talk to somebody, start changing our food. Literally, the things we are eating
Mm-hmm.
control the decisions we're making. You don't
Yeah.
believe me? Start eating better. Watch how clear your thoughts be. Watch how much better your decisions get made.
Yep.
Drinking water alone.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure that we are teaching this thing in a whole, because our culture grows up, our children grow up hearing this word stress and struggle, and they don't know what to do with it other than
Right.
to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if
Or
we
act
start off,
out.
that's right. If we start off early, teaching them what it is from the beginning, then we can avoid the therapy sessions. We can avoid the IP in school. We can avoid
Yeah.
in front of the juvenile judge, because
Mm-hmm.
we have given them the information in the developing stage that they need to use it in the right way.
Yes.
So yes, I definitely agree with that particular expert and what he says about uh, the power of love and how
Yeah.
it can reduce stress. So
Mm-hmm.
you guys, go love on somebody. Go find somebody that you can love on. If you know somebody that's overwhelmed, just text them, "I love you." That alone is so
Yeah.
powerful. It's so powerful. I started this little thing about some months ago because I have been starting to realize the power of love, and that it's an exchange of energy that must be increased among
Yeah.
us, among our people, starting in the homes, spreading into the communities, and into the schools and workplace, among male and female gender. It doesn't matter. We have to start recognizing the power of love. And
Yes.
so,
Can
yeah, I
I
was
add?
kind of lost way of going with. Oh, I started this thing called the Sis Star Circle Challenge, where I was challenging us as sisters to
Mhm.
start being more proactive and sending out, sending love and just daily care to each other. And it
Oh.
came about because I was needing that. And so
Mhm.
someone started doing it with me, and I was like, make a thing of it, make it purposeful,
Right.
do it
Yeah.
on purpose. So I started off challenging people to pick 5 people, 5 females a day, 5 sisters a day that you could just, hey, how you doing? Just checking on you. Love you, sis. Keep your head up, And it's kind of, it really brought me and helped bring me out of a lot of the stress and things that I was going through. The time I was able to think clearer, able to start making better decisions, things started manifesting,
Yeah.
and I say all that because, again, getting back to the topic, there is power in love. So if you
Mhm.
increase the love in your life, you increase the power.
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
Kim, you
I
mean?
want to add something.
Sure.
So not but some people aren't very verbal when they come to expressing their love. Like I could love someone, but I may not feel comfortable saying, "Hey, I love you." Even nonverbal ways you can show someone love is a hug. You can rub them on their arm, pat them on their back, things like that does a lot for people too. You don't even have to say anything. If they look bad, like, give me a hug. Let me love on you for a second. You
Hmm.
don't even have to say anything. Just go in for the hug. They're not going to say no because they
Right.
need it. They need it.
Yes. Yes.
So there are some nonverbal ways you can express love as well.
I
And
totally
that's also
agree.
good coming from at a young age, the parent to the child. That's how that's taught as well. You don't have people growing up not knowing how to show their emotions. So showing love from a parent to a child at a young age will
Yes.
help them on the adolescent, teenager, young adult, and to their adult age.
Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that's another thing that we have gotten away from because I remember growing up, walking down the street, you literally spoke to everybody.
Yep.
And if you didn't speak, you got in trouble. It was like, but I don't know that person. No matter, you better speak. They gave you eye contact, you speak, you say hello, how you doing? And
Mhm.
so I kind of have realized that that type of connection between people, whether they're strangers and neighborhoods, not have definitely changed. Like people almost even scared to look at each
Mhm.
other. Have you ever been with someone like, what's she looking at? And like, what I mean? I just
Yeah.
always wonder, what am I don't know I can't help my eyes. They went over that way. You go over there, I went over that way. So now I'm having a very, uncomfortable conversation or confrontation with someone because my eyes,
Right.
met theirs. And
Right.
instead of saying, hey, hello, it was like a problem. I didn't understand
Yeah.
that going through the 90s and 2000s. I was like,
Right.
this is the new
I
people.
know what you mean.
These new people are sensitive. But no, but no, I agree though. I feel like some of that started at home, like, somewhere in the home we've gotten away from getting up in the morning, and you know how it is. You went out of the house. If you came downstairs and rubbed your eyes and yarned before you could stand there, somebody be like, and you can't speak. I ain't sleep with you last
Right.
night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you were
Yeah.
kind of forced into showing affection,
Yeah.
or showing love verbally. But nowadays, I wonder how many people get up in the morning and still, give their children hugs, before they
Hmm.
leave out or before they go.
Right.
Again, that little bit of affection could carry someone a long way in their day.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
it doesn't
absolutely
always have to be words. You can learn how you can express. There are nonverbal conversations that can happen all
right.
the time.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Well, Kim, we're going to keep it rolling. Things is going good, you guys. we get ready to close out. Those are definitely something to think about. I love this show. I love this show. I like the fact that I don't have it every week because that would not give me 2 weeks to watch the
Right,
show
right, right.
400 times.
Yeah.
Because every time I watch the show, I get something out of it. A
Hmm.
little bit more than the time before. And so I hope everyone who tunes in, or even if you don't catch the live stream, hit the playback, you guys. Make sure you subscribe to Full Authors Media Network on YouTube. Grow with us, grow with the Be More Mindful podcast and the network. So if we're going to make you proud, it's definitely going to be something to see.
Yes.
Well, we're getting ready to go to the last part of our show, where I'm going to leave you all with a mindful thought, and then I'm going to ask my guests to close out with their mindful thought, and also they're going to tell you how you can support them so they can continue to use their gift to share, therapeutic help wholeness to the world and to whomever they come in contact with. All right. So today I chose 2 quotes from Buddha um, for my mindful thought, and the first one is, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Let me say that one more time. Buddha said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection.
Mm.
And then he goes on to say, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. Let's say that one more time. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule.
Mm.
And so, Baltimore, I just want to leave you with the thought that, I know you guys hear me often say that knowledge is power, and this is true. But there is a deeper magic, that is able to, do the most phenomenal things, in not only your life but others. And this power first has to be tapped into yourself. You have to tap into the love for yourself to activate the power that you need for to give the love to others.
Mm.
And also remember, wielding this power of love, it is the only way to conquer hatred. Hatred cannot cease by using violence or hateful actions. It must be conquered by love. And with that being said, I hope we all take the time in Baltimore to be a little bit more mindful about how, or even if, we are using the power of love to its greatest ability. I promise you, if you are, and if we do collectively, it will be a sight to see and a change in our city. Okay, Kim, that was my mindful thought.
Yes.
Um, let the city know what yours is. Thank you. Let the city know what yours is, and please, let them know where they can find you so they can get fit.
Okay. So mine is, I didn't do a quote like yours. You are fancy with yours. I
Just
was
the
just
host.
thinking of I was just thinking of things to say. So I don't have a official quote. I just wrote down some things of what I thought love is. So I'm straightening up my
Okay.
phone so I won't fall. All right,
Okay.
so I can read. So I put for me, love is, well, first is known as like one of the most a powerful emotion, or force that we know of. It connects our innermost selves, which is our self love, and friends and family. I did have a quote. I mean, I kind of wrote it down, but what it was in First Corinthians, that famous
Yes.
love quote.
Yes.
Love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, it does not boast, it's not arrogant or rude. Um, I didn't go into the whole thing, but that is a very powerful um, statement for love, because like how we talked about in the beginning, it to me is judgment free. So
Yes.
um, and with that being said, I feel like you got to start with yourself. You just touched on that, was self love. So I do feel that to no love, you have to love yourself. And I'm not talking about just like the superficial things, like love yourself deeply and eternally so that you can know how to give love and also to receive, because sometimes we don't know how to receive it. So to be more mindful of that and loving yourself so that you can pour into other people. And definitely in our culture and in Baltimore, we definitely need a lot more of that, so we can overpower the not so good stuff.
I got you. Yes, I agree. Kim, you have been awesome. Make sure you tell us where we can find you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram at kim.gofitness. Um, I was gonna say TikTok, but I don't really remember my TikTok. But basically, just Instagram, Kim Go Fitness. I teach classes over at C Rose's Event Center. All the information is on my page. Feel free to come drop in, take a class with me. It's every Tuesday. I have an upcoming Sexy Heels class on the 28th of this month. So feel free to drop in. Just say that you watch this show. Be mindful
Be
podcast.
more mindful
Be
podcast.
more mindful. I'm sorry. Be
You
more
guys
mindful.
reference me.
Yes, yes, and you will get a special discount. So, just to come in, feel the vibe, de-stress after work, especially on our Tuesday classes. We really have a good time, and we just love on each other. We support each other. We encourage each other, and yeah. So, I touch
Yeah.
bases with everyone. So just reach
Yeah.
out.
I can't stop smiling. I love it so much. Yes. And Baltimore, I promise you, it's an experience like no other. Please, if you can, make sure you go take a class. Go take a class. To not only feel fit, but feel yourself esteem, feel yourself, feel beautiful, feel wonderful inside and out. Sea Rose's Event Center is a very beautiful place, a very motivating place. Shout out to them. NC Rose. See, I love my family. I love my family. I have a family over there, you guys, and so it wasn't hard to book my guest today. She was just like, she didn't even quit. She's like, I'm down for it. The date, what I need to do, and it was just awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kim. It was a great show, you guys. Hey, run this back. Run this back in case you missed something. The power of love. This is episode 17 on the Be More Mindful podcast. I'm your host, Aneski. Aneski literally means she belongs to me. Thank you for having me in Baltimore. I'll catch you on the fourth Thursday. Yeah.